So, I did it. I left America. Right now, I'm in isolation for a couple weeks because of coronavirus. To make use of my time, I wanted to make this vlog so I could look back on it and remember how I felt when I left. So, I think I'm just gonna talk and play some clips of my last few weeks in the country. If you're joining me to hear my perspective, thank you. I will say, growing up in America was pretty great for me. New York, especially, I think really fit who I ended up wanting to be. Whether that was coincidence or just a result of growing up there, I'm not exactly sure, but I feel lucky. I feel lucky to have lived in a place where I had pretty much everything I wanted. New York is beautiful, and pretty much the rest of America is too. Things are pretty cheap for people who have stable jobs and stable families, which I was fortunate enough to pretty much have. And yeah, I feel like I got a lot of good out of it. I'm definitely not leaving upset with the time that I spent there. I'm definitely leaving, thankfully, for everything that I had and everything that I learned. Obviously, I left America, so I had some reasons I didn't want to stay. I won't address them explicitly because that's not what I'm here for. Some people will really disagree with how I feel, and that's totally fine. I know America well enough to see both sides, and I can absolutely understand why many people would love to live there. I wouldn't encourage everyone to abandon America, it just wasn't for me. The United States was my home for 23 years. Basically, my entire life was growing up there. I traveled all around the country and saw so many beautiful things. I've stood at the edge of canyons, the top of mountains, the beaches of both coasts, and in the dust of the desert. I felt completely in awe watching fireworks on the 4th of July, and comfort tucked away in the rolling hills of upstate New York. I felt disgusted and disappointed by political leaders, and momentarily terrified when sound of gunshots caught me off guard. No matter how much it truly felt like home to me at times and provided me with anything I could dream of pursuing, no matter who I fell in love with or what opportunities came my way, something didn't feel right about being there to me. I've known for a very long time that I wanted to leave, but I always chalked it up to wanting a sense of adventure. I didn't know exactly why I couldn't identify with America. I always thought it would be impossible for me to understand what it means to be American, because there are so many different types of people, many being polar opposites of each other. But now, with all the reflection that comes with packing up and leaving an old life behind, I think I finally realized what it is. It's American to be angry. I know there are angry people all over the world, and at least half the people I love and admire are Americans, who I believe are genuinely wonderful people. Nothing is quite so black and white. It's just that from my experience, nobody makes anger into a culture quite like Americans do. Anger is a wonderful and powerful motivator. It can encourage us to take a stand for what we believe in. That is the beauty of America. But if anger lives too long and is the only thing that keeps us going, we become blind, tactless, ineffective, and poisonous. And that is the danger of America. Americans with the loudest voices and the most influence speak violently and claim that if you aren't angry, you're not an ally or that you don't understand. It is American to believe anger is justified because change is necessary. Anger starts wonderful and important movements like justice for people of color. And then it lives too long as the only motivator and turns into all cops are bastards, without any ability to acknowledge how hypocritical that truly is. Fighting hate with more hate? Anger lives too long and prompts people to turn against their own allies for not supporting the cause in a perfect and relentless way. It turns politics away from voting for candidates because you understand and support their ideas, to voting for the person who doesn't make your blood boil quite so much. It turns debates away from proper academic discussion of potential ideas and their plausibility to nothing more than adults bickering like children on live television. Real progress will always be hindered by anger that is allowed to live past its worth. And its worth, in my opinion, runs out incredibly quickly. I've spent 23 years learning how to be properly angry. I've been explicitly told I should be angry with myself when I make mistakes or don't perform to meet expectations. And I've been trained to be angry with people who don't support my beliefs. My friends and I often bond over being mutually angry at the same things. I really am a passionate person, and the extent of my anger was always one of the ways that came through. Each time I spoke through anger, it was met with an astounding number of people reassuring me that my anger was justified. And I'll always believe that it was. But that doesn't mean it served me well. Anger is compelling because it makes you strong. There's no doubt about that. I've had many fires in my heart in my life, but the ones fueled by anger have proved impossible to control and have burned through happiness, logic, and compassion on the way. In the past year, I've made so many changes in my life that I would never have anticipated. While I'll never be completely free from my anger, so much of it is gone. It doesn't drive me anymore. I want to move forward with real compassion, patience, and an open enough mind to do what is objectively right, regardless of how my frustration and self-interest tells me to react. I'm tired of anger. And with that, at least for now, I'm tired of America. And to America, I hope you grow. We like home renovation shows like Fixer Upper because they remind us that as long as there's even some semblance of a foundation, we can construct something beautiful where there was once wreckage. That's an appealing idea, and one I believe is always true. But what we often forget about that process is not only that so much time, money, and effort needs to be put in, but also that sometimes the structure itself needs to be partly or entirely torn down. So, America, although I do love you for being my home, I hope someone tears you down. You've been wonderful to me, but you were never great. You're failing so many people in so many ways. You could do so much better than you have. You ruin the environment at twice the pace of any other country, and no, not just because of the population size. You let down people of color, the disabled, the low-income families, and you still even manage to find new ways to let down women in the 21st century. I don't think you're the worst country in the world. You certainly don't make it a better place, but you have a lot going for you. A nation full of billionaires, a massive range of climates and ecosystems, diversity, so many beautiful cultures, and an incredible amount of people coming to you to focus on higher education should be better. It should be the best. There is no excuse for you, America. Not anymore. I hope you can find a way to reach your true potential as the leader in what is good for the world. And I hope when you do it without being quite so angry.